biodiversity is now more threatened, now more than ever. And as well as same with this condition, this traditional knowledge is also disappearing at a rapid pace. So there is a need for protection of this knowledge, because this knowledge plays a very important role in the economy, global economy, and as well as in agricultural and medicinal field. So now let's go through some of the objectives. The objectives which I have followed for this study are, first objective is to gather information on the role of traditional knowledge regarding various aspects. The second objective is to identify the change in people's view on traditional knowledge. And lastly, the last objective is to point out the problems in the protection of traditional knowledge. These are some of the facts which I have collected from the literature review which I have done before, which shaped this study. The main fact is that the Convention of Biological Diversity is the key international instrument which recognizes the role of traditional knowledge. Because according to the Article 8J of this convention, the parties should recognize the use, protection, and preservation of this knowledge. So this is a very important convention, which is a key instrument for this study. And the traditional knowledge is important. It has a various potential in various fields, and it can be applied in. It is difficult to apply. This knowledge is difficult to apply because this has various constraints, which include social, economic, and political constraints. And right now, recently, international attention has been increased due to the adoption of Convention on Biological Diversity in 1992. And India has taken various initiatives in preserving traditional knowledge, which includes such as traditional knowledge digital library, protection of plant varieties and farmers' rights act, and the last act is the Biological Diversity Act, which is the most important act. And let's go through some what is the study area which I have done the study and the methodology adopted for this study. The study area, I have selected sites for this study. First site is the Wilong village, and second site is the Mata village. The Wilong village is located in the Senapati district in the Indian state of Manipur. It is divided into two groups, namely Wilong Kulen and Wilong Kuno. These are the two sides of the first site, subdivision of the first site. And this is mainly inhabited by the, which I have mentioned in the topic of this thesis, the Maram tribe. This is the Maram tribe mainly inhabits this village, Wilong village. And the second is the Mata village, which is mainly inhabited by the Waifei tribe. This Mata village is located in the Chuchampur district of Manipur, in the Indian state of Manipur. So, and I have included two land use map of the villages here to show that these two villages, as you can see in the two land use map, they are mainly dominated by agricultural land and forest cover area, which clearly shows that these two villages have not been truly exposed to modern societies or modern development. They are living still in the edge of adult age and indigenous age. These are the indigenous attire of the communities. Left one is the side one. The picture which I've included on the left side is the traditional attire of the first side, which is the Wilong village, and the second one on the right side is the traditional attire of the second community, which is the Waifei tribe. The methodology that I've adopted on this study is I've used a questionnaire. I've prepared a questionnaire to get responses from the participants in a cost-effective way and a standard manner. The questionnaire consisted of 15 questions, which first were the 5 multiple choice questions and 10 were of open-ended questions. On an average, more than like 20 people from each village participated in this survey. Informal discussion as well as personal interviews were also conducted. Informal discussions were conducted to check the validity of the responses from the people, and the personal interviews provide the opportunity. This personal interview provide the opportunity to check whether the responses were forged or they have given it from their wholeheartedly using their non-verbal observations. So actually meaning body language. Elderly population were preferred for this survey because the traditional knowledge, the older population have elderly population have the more experience and more knowledge on this regard. First, these are the data that I have obtained, but we will not go deeply through this because this denotes only the lifestyle of the communities which I have studied. This is for the site one which is of the Wilong village, which is mainly inhabited by the tribe, Maram tribe. So first, as we can see from the first table, they mainly they have lived in the 52%, nearly 52% of them have lived in mud wall and tin roof situation. They have not. There's only a few of the people have lived in brick or stone wall in tin roof, so they have not been exposed to modern technologies or modern development. And sources of drinking water, they depend only on a single natural spring for their drinking water. And the types of kitchen, they use mainly use joint kitchen, and they use firewood mainly for their as a cooking fuel. And everyone in the villages which I have conducted the survey, they have private land holdings. They have kitchen garden, with either kitchen garden, agroforestry, or wetland. So now let's go through the traditional knowledge which they have acquired over experiences regarding healthcare. For fever, they have used this mint and neem leaf to apply the paste made from their lips on the forehead, and for sinus and nose bleeding, apply the paste of the leaves of culantro on their on the nose. And stomachache, we have to prepare the paste of these leaves with water and consume the juice, which will make. For diabetes, they have prepared this black turmeric to consume the powder of the dried rhizome of this black turmeric and mix with water, and they consume it. For blood pressure, to regulate the blood pressure, they consume the juice of the leaves of some local plant known as nomaka. They don't have any common name, just a local name. They have nomaka. They consume this juice. And for cancer, they use the fruit of the fruit of the tree, Indian pepper, mixed with water. I have also, for better understanding, I have also included the pictures of the species that they have used in this study. And for regarding culture and conservation, some species are regarded as sacred for them and related to their tradition and culture. And these species are their main priority for conservation. The species that are regarded for their main conservation, these species require long time for maturity. They require long time for maturity, so they keep main priority for conservation on this species of trees. These are conserved through using sacred groves in their forests. So seeds and plants of trees of various importance are also stored safely. But in the case of dye preparation, they have not documented this information properly, so it has been lost somehow. So I have just got the blueprint on a little bit of information about this dye preparation. For dye preparation, they use for black dye, they use the Indian persimmon bark and unripe fruits of the Indian persimmon and fermented in water to extract the dye. And then for blue, they use the leaves of true indigo, dried and fermented. In agricultural practices, majority of the people in these villages practice shifting cultivation and terrace cultivation, but recently shifting cultivation has been banned due to the disadvantages from them. So only terrace cultivation is practiced right now for them. And in rare cases, they don't have low fertility cases, but in rare cases, if they have these cases, they use cow manure. Majorly they use crop rotation to maintain the fertility, because if they plant, for example, tubers and cereals have different demand for nutrients. So they rotate the crop so that there will be they will maintain the fertility in the soil as long as. And I also included photos. These are the on the right side, these are the traditional farmers I have included, and the type of terrace cultivation they have done. For soil and water conservation, regarding conservation practices, the decision of the head of the village, in local dialect they call them as Ningthau. Their decision is final. They can charge heavy fine and punishment of any culprit who does not follow their local laws and local laws and practices which does not follow them, they will be charged with heavy fine and punishment. Rainwater harvesting is practiced by majority of the people in these villages, and drinking water is directly fetched and collected from natural springs. On the left side, the photo I have included is the site where the spring water comes out from the spring, and on the right side, this is the they have a small collection pond from the spring which they have collected the water, and they use this for drinking purposes and their domestic purposes. And in forecasting of weather and disaster, they have various indicators. They have ancient various indicators. They use clouds, moon, and animals, etc., for indicators. If there's a dark color in cloud, it represents heavy rainfall. If the crescent of the moon faces upward, it indicates less rainfall. And if the frogs or other animals make some noise, they also indicate good rainfall. And just like that, ants, if ants appear and rapidly increasing size of the ant hills, it also represents good rainfall. But if there is migration and immigration of bird, it represents good annual rainfall. And below are the practices they follow about regarding their habitat establishment. Only hardwoods are used for building their houses. Means that woods which have tree nodes, they use only this type of woods because they have great strength as compared to other woods. And kitchen and fireplace should be placed in the center of every houses. And the doors, there will be two doors of their houses. They have to on the front one door, and on the back side of the house there will be one door too. So there will be a regular flow of air throughout the house, and windows are only faced sideways, not in the front or nor in the back. They are only faced sideways. And two crossing horns made of Indian, also it is in the next slide, the typical housing, but two crossing horns of Indian cedar. This Indian cedar tree has a antimicrobial properties, so this prevents insects or invasion of any other microbes to their house, because they are made of wood, and they can be easily invaded or infected by this kind of things. So next is they have 5 types of house: Baki, Karaki, Akaki, Mangaki, and Pungtaki. These houses have different type. They are different types. Sabaki is the lowest form of the house, and this requires only 1 or 2 days to build. This is a small type of house, and Pungtaki is the highest form of the house. This and because these houses represent various important theory, important information behind this. Because if someone wants to build the highest form of the house, Pungtatki, they need to perform certain activities in 5-year span. Just for example, they need to conserve trees. They need to plant trees for 5 years, or like some amount of trees, or conserve resources to build this house. So they can't, if anyone wants to build a house, they can't build at any time or any place. They have to prepare for this house to be built, so that they will they will not have any negative impacts to the nature after they have constructed this house. This is the picture they have attached here. Is on the left side. This is a traditional house style of the tribe, and then this is a traditional kitchen on the right side. This is a traditional kitchen of the Ram tribe. And lastly, these are changes and problems faced by them. They have lost several species in the past years, and nowadays people are inclined more towards modern facilities. Gender gap has been is closing, because previously, like in older times, women folk used to work more. They used to do agricultural work as well as the household work. But nowadays, it doesn't need to be only women folk. Both male gender and female gender can do the work both together. And people nowadays often consider